Yes, we will be looking at a pretty major storm that is expected to occur next week, with a wide range of impacts going from a snowstorm to possibly a severe weather outbreak, which would be in the south and southeast. And the snowstorm is going to be in the blue and purple shade areas mainly, which would be from the Central Plains into the upper Midwest. And some flooding in between all this. Now, before we get started, please don't hesitate to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and like our content, and like this video if you, again, enjoy the content and like our coverage. Now, let's get into today's forecast. Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather on day 6, which would be Wednesday afternoon evening, for portions of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana, which is right here in this yellow zone. Once again, if you are in this yellow zone, you should probably keep checking the forecast because it could become dangerous. Monitor the forecast, and check day 7 outlook, and we see the same 15% chance according to Storm Prediction Center. This is Thursday. This is the day after Wednesday, where we just saw the outlook for day 6. The threat according to Storm Prediction Center and, of course, the models have shifted farther east for the progression of the storms into the lower Mississippi Valley and middle. That would include states such as Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, into the southern reaches of Illinois and Indiana. So if you're in any of these areas, you have to pay attention to the severe weather or the weather forecast will be coming up over the next week or so, as well as we're here once again, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana. You are obviously not secluded. You guys have to do the same thing here too, because you're also in Wednesday threat. So if you're just in any of these areas in the southeast and deep south, you have to monitor the whole situation as the storm evolves, which wouldn't be until next week once again. So now we're going to go into the models that help today's forecast, and so on. We do see the storm beginning to evolve in the center of the country, and there will likely be a squall line which would be extending from near the low center down here into Louisiana, Texas, which would be starting obviously Wednesday afternoon, evening. And then you also see this whole area of wintry weather and snow and ice north of the low and west of it. That would especially be for if you're closer to the rain snow line or even just the snow and ice line. That would mean areas such as Kansas, northwest Missouri, Iowa, southeast Nebraska, and the southern Wisconsin and northern Michigan would be the most likely areas that would see the heaviest snow out of the snowstorm. And then as for the severe weather, this will be tracking eastward with time, which would be impacting areas from the lower Mississippi Valley, southern plains, and in the southeast, and perhaps in the Ohio Valley even. So yeah, now let's get into the severe weather ingredients for, you can see there's going to be some caping, or instability as we call it, the Wednesday afternoon evening, which would go from central Texas into central Kansas, and then go near the Gulf Coast. We might be still seeing that pocket of instability from Missouri into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. But again, that's probably one of the most mind-boggling things, and even uncertain things, about whether or not that thunderstorms will occur that far north there too. But we definitely know this whole area, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, they could be seeing some severe weather with this. And yeah, watch for that instability, because that's gonna develop Wednesday evening into Thursday, maybe lingering into Friday for Florida. If you can see right there. Yeah, Florida, there's going to be some lingering instability for Friday for severe weather. Now let's get into some of the other gradients for this map. You can see some dew points in the 50s, starting to vect northward from the Gulf, with Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana already seeing those dew points, as well as areas along the Gulf Coast and Florida, which is also seeing some dew points in the 60s, along with southeastern Texas. And those dew points are going to spread northward with time. And as the system moves eastward, northeastward, we still see that at those areas along the Gulf, we'll see dew points in the 60s, as well as a little farther inland. Areas such as Texas, like southern Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. We'll likely see those dew points as well as the southeast Virginia area. So, the ingredients are definitely there for the severe weather. But we want to look at the bulk shears to show you how easy it is for that severe weather to pop up with all these favorable conditions in mind. In the bulk shear map, and in the areas that would see severe weather in the southern and central plains, there's an abundant amount of bulk shear there, and as the severe threat moves east, so does all that bulk shear. And we definitely see it, thus it's very favorable for severe weather, and it could even be a severe weather outbreak if there's more instability out there for that severe weather to become particularly fierce, especially considering the squall line that we could be seeing with this too, that it could be driving the severe weather, but there could still be some cells ahead of that, but the mode for that is uncertain, so we're just going to focus on what could occur with a general idea, not like a very detailed, like all that kind of stuff. So with all these severe weather set up in mind, let's go into the snowfall amounts, since we've covered enough on severe weather that we know that there's going to be an event going on, probably most likely case scenario. Looking at the snowfall map, there could be a swath of a foot of snow over that could be coming from Central Plains up in the Midwest and the Great Lakes. As you can see, that dark red or purplish red zone, which would be from southern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, central Iowa, and northern Kansas, and the northwest corner of Missouri. And these forecasts can be refined with time, but this is what models seem to look at right now for what could occur with, at least what our GFS has. We can look at the other models and see what they would suggest too. So we're going to look into those models too to see what they say compared to GFS. Look at the arrow, it is lighter for at least the United States portion. And it also further south, I guess. As you can see, it is kind of further south with some snowfall that GFS doesn't really produce much, if any, for areas like northern Oklahoma, central Missouri, and southeast Kansas, and northern Illinois, Indiana, even Ohio, and the rest of lower Michigan. So, and that's not what the other models seem to think for the most part. And the Canadian models kind of plays it really light. Much of this is coming from a little bit before that, but it's also coming from the snowstorm, or what GDPS says, or what Canadian model says, a light snowfall. Or moderate if you really, So yeah, these are the comparisons of the three models. Jeff is on the hip end of this storm, so didn't go too much with the snow hazards with the map. This goes up to purple, and that kind of means usually would mean like 6+ inches, and we're not making a snowfall forecast until the next update. But this is just kind of a reminder what the snowstorm hits once again, and yeah. So if you enjoyed today's forecast, please be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And once again, these are just some secondary reminders. Hope you're safe.